collecting reviews, good or bad or giving reviews. Restoration is on memories.
Hello everyone, it's Outrider here, and this is 5 marketing techniques that toy companies have used in order to help us get hooked. Now, as toy collectors, we probably don't need a lot to get us hooked, but every now and again toy companies will try and do something a little bit different, try and include something within the toy in order to try and basically get us hooked, give us something else for nothing. So I'm not here to talk about gimmicks of toys. I could easily talk about how the fact a combiner toy basically makes you commit to buying 5 or 6 toys rather than just the one. But I'm going to talk about slightly different techniques here. So shall we get straight into it? Number 5 are robot points, or any type of point system where you used to snip points off your backing cards or your boxes and send them away for an item. Now in the UK, you used to could send off for retail items. I remember sending off, I think it was for a Mirage the once, but unfortunately I never got that Mirage. I ended up with an Inferno. I remember actually sending off about 2 or 3 times for Transformers with those points and not getting the Transformer that I wanted back because it was out of stock. So I think I ended up with, that's probably the reason why I got 3 or 4 bloody Infernos upstairs. But in the States it was slightly different, and this is where it was really, really clever. I don't remember this in the UK, so keep me honest in the comments below if you disagree. So in the States and Canada, there were unique figures that you could only get hold of via mail order by buying your points. And I'm sure this was the same for G.I. Joe as well. So there was Reflector and the Omnibots, I believe, were all mail order. And that could hook us in as kids because they're these unique toys that you couldn't get hold of on the shop shelves. But also as collectors, that's the type of thing we love now. So that was a really clever bit of marketing. The more of these things that you bought, the more points that you get, the more unique things you could actually get hold of. And that is pretty clever. In at number 4 is RID Grimlock. No, not RID Grimlock, but this little code here. If you can see it, I'll try and get it out the sun. I'll stick up a picture anyway. But the gimmick behind this is kind of the modern day equivalent of what we've just spoke about, but a lot cheaper for businesses. So this is actually used on a mobile game, and you can download that game for free, and then you can scan this code and then play it as this character which you've just bought in the game. Now for kids that of this modern day and age, to get a virtual representation in your computer game for nothing, that's amazing. However, what it does commit the child's parents to do is basically go out and buy all of these things. So not only have they got all the toys, they've also got the representation on the app. Pretty clever marketing, and we're seeing it more and more now. Now moving away from kids, this is probably aimed at more collectors. If you collect something, then chances are you collect something else. So I collect Transformers, but I also collect other vintage toys. I've collected comics, I've collected cards, I've collected loads of stuff. And the 2 latter things I've just spoke about there have been used as bait in order to incentivise the purchase of some of our toys, especially in the Transformers toy line. So we've seen comics thrown in there. These are some Combiner Wars ones, but they go back all the way to, I think, the 1930s. So you buy a toy and you also get a comic in there as well. So you're feeding 2 habits there, and you get some unique covers. And you know what, that really scratches the itch and makes you think, you know what, I'm getting more than just a toy, I'm getting something else as well. And the same goes for trading cards. All the Combiner Wars ones here, dropping something on the floor. All the Combiner Wars ones, Times Return, Masterpieces, all of those contain a collector's card, which is another thing to collect. Another incentive, a cheap incentive, that kind of softens the blow of buying the toy. And also with collector's cards, you want to get a representation of each character. So sometimes, I remember once I bought Elita 1, even though I knew it was a terrible toy, and I sold it for about a £5 loss. And I thought, well, at least I've got the collector's card. And it's just like, what, really? And those things can be quite powerful. So in at number 3 was comics and cards. And what I will say as well, that this isn't a new thing. Jurassic Park figures from back in the 90s, Alien figures, all came with collector's cards. So this is not a new thing. This is something that's been going on for a while. So in at number 2 is packaging another toy in with that toy as a freebie. Now I don't mean packaging 2 packs or all that kind of stuff. I mean creating a brand new toy line as part of a toy line in order to try and increase sales. What am I talking about? Decoys. Now I've only got 2 of these from the age. I've got Mirage and I've got Ravage. But these were packaged with Transformers, Generation 1 Transformers. I think the Throttle Bots, I think the Mini Bots, the Techno Bots, I'm sure of it. So these were little rubber representations of some of the main Transformers cast, and I think, don't quote me on this, they were randomly packaged. So you're not only going out and you're buying a Transformers toy that you want, you might end up seeing a decoy, if you're collecting the decoys, in with a toy that you don't necessarily want, and you end up buying that toy just for the decoy. It's really, really clever. Very, very clever. So in at number 2, decoys. So in at number 1, the most clever marketing gimmick doesn't come from Hasbro, even though they've adopted it lately. It comes from a company called Toy Biz, and they started in 2002 with Build-A-Figures in Marvel Legends. Now, these are 2 of only 3 Marvel Legends I've got at the moment, and I am getting into this rabbit hole. But it's the best marketing gimmick, that I've come across. I think it's brilliant. So what they do is they package, you get your figure for about £20. Some of them come with a lot of accessories, some of them don't. And these figures come with a part. And that part creates a figure, a main figure from that particular toy line. So for example, we all know that I'm collecting Thanos here, and I've got a couple of Thanos parts. So why is that so clever? Well, it means that for big characters like the Hulk, Giant Man, Thanos, Galactus, I think, Sentinel, all of these ones, if you want that figure, you have to commit to buying a wave, and a wave has about 6 normally in a wave. Now 5 of those normally come with Build-A-Figure pieces, and 1 of them doesn't. And I think it's so clever how they go about doing this. So I've seen waves before, like the Civil War wave, where you can get Giant Man that has a representation of each character from that particular film, which is quite clever. And then you buy the entire set, and I think one of them, War Machine, doesn't come with a part, but that's okay because it's still part of this set. So you can complete all the Civil War figures, and then you can get a Build-A-Figure. And that's brilliant for us as collectors. But this is where the clever part starts. If you look at one of the later waves, and I'm going to talk about the first Thanos release, that was packaged with a handful of Infinity War figures, but it was also packaged with figures that you really, really don't care about. Some figures that are just, I don't even know who they are. So why would they do that? Well, they would do that because even if you don't want that particular figure, you would want that Thanos arm. So you will end up going and spending 20 odd quid on a figure just for a limb or for a torso. And we will do it, and I've done it recently. I felt lucky really because there is an Infinity War wave, so I've managed to revert back and pick up Thanos via that. But it's so clever. You will spend money buying parts for a figure that isn't even assembled, that you've got to assemble yourself, on figures that you don't even care about, and that is so clever. And it really plays on the completionists within us in collectors, and yeah, it's really clever, and it's the best marketing gimmick that I've come across since I've been toy collecting. Anyway, I hope this video's made sense. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Zort Rider, and I'll catch you again soon.